Believers. I watched a movie, I believe 2 nights, yes, it was 2 nights ago. I forgot the name because I watched various movies past days. And one thing, I already told you this before, but one thing I really noticed about those movies is that each one of them contains a warning. But commoners don't pay attention to such things because they just watch movies to be entertained, they watch movies to be relieved, they don't watch movies to decode. Because pagans, when they teach you something, they code it, and you have to decode it. Why? That is so that the information cannot be abused. To prevent information from being taken advantage of in a wrong way, pagans they code what they are telling you. Just like Christ spoke in parables, pagans use movies as parables. So, I've really forgot the name of the movie, but in this movie, it consists out of several. It was a cowboy movie, a wild western movie. It was more like a comedy, and you had several chapters, and each chapter was a different story. So the stories were not actually related at all. And while going through the movie, there was this one chapter where there was this bank robber. He robbed a bank, but he was caught in a very disturbing way. Why? Because he could have seen it coming, how he would be caught, but he was caught. And he was arrested, and when he woke up, because he was smacked down, he became unconscious for a while, so when he woke up, he had a rope around his neck, a slip knot, and he was tied to a tree, and he was on his horse. And he saw the judge and the other individuals around him. So it was clear he was receiving the death penalty. And he asked me, is there any last thing you want to say? He pretended that as if he didn't understand the situation. They explained the situation to him, and they told him, is there anything else you want to say before the sentence is carried out? He said something weird, something that didn't make any sense. And before the sentence was carried out, there was a group of Indians, or today we call them Native Americans. Remember, the movie plays in the 19th century, in the cowboy era. So there were Indians that came, and those Indians killed the judge and the others that were there at the tree. But the Indians left him there hanging on the tree because Indians perceived him, a white man, as the enemy. So he was there, almost dying, because the horse was about to move away. But if the horse moved away, he would be hanging there. So right on time, he saw someone from afar, and that individual saw him. There was another white man with his livestock, and the guy came and got him off the tree in a comical way. So after that, the two went on the road together. While they were on the road, suddenly the guy that freed him looked in front of him, he stared, and he became scared. So he turned around with his horse and fled the scene. So the convict who just escaped death penalty, he looked around and he was asking the other guy who was already far away, why are you leaving? What's going on? And he began to gaze in front of him to see what's going on. From far he could see a group of men on the horses on his way. And you get it already. He was recaptured, and this time he was publicly executed in front of a crowd, so there was no possibility of him being rescued. Before, he was just a few seconds before he received this black cloth on top of his head, because at the time when they executed you, they would put that black cloth over your head so that people would not see the expression in your eyes when you were dying. He saw this attractive young lady over there, and that was the last thing he saw. Things became black, and he was hanged. Now, why am I talking about this scene from that movie? Because just think about it, believers. This man just escaped death. You would think it would make him more alert. When he was with the one that delivered him, the one that delivered him saw danger from afar, And he also warned them, oh, I'm out of here. So you would think, okay, if the one that delivered you just rushes away, go after him. Nobody just becomes anxious and rushes away on the horse just like that. This fool kept on his location in ease to check what's going on. And his curiosity killed him. He should have looked at the bigger picture. He was a convict. The ones that were to execute him, they were killed. So if they recapture him, he would be also blamed for the death of those civil servants. And if he would be recaptured, the administration will be sure to finish the job this time. So he should have realized, okay, I need to get out of this area. So the fact that he was on the road with one that delivered him, and the one that delivered him just rushed away and even hindered him to get out, he should have listened. He should have paid attention. He didn't. He was so at ease. He was so emotionally unconscious of what was going on around him. And that became his doom. The same way that guy perished, though to his attachment to comfort, in the same way, many people perish because they're holding on to stuff they should let go of. And there was another part of the movie before that, and it was about this cowboy dressed in white, who nobody really considered to be any threat. They thought that this guy is just a clown. But this guy that they considered a clown was very good with guns. And even when you had a gun in front, point at him, he would look around. For example, it was one time in a cafe or a saloon, they probably called it back then, that he didn't want to play any cards. So the one that was winning put a gun to him. What did he do? He smashed the table, and the table got to the guy's hand, and the guy shot himself. So he was quite how would I say? He was, I wouldn't say lucky, but he was looking at the circumstance he used and look at whatever he could use to get him out of trouble. He was quite good. Then it was this time, and someone challenged him to a duel. That is when you have those cowboys, one at the end of the street over there, one over there. They all turn around, and the one that shoots first and kills the other wins. They used to do such stupid things in the past, but okay. So he thought, you know what, I'm smart, I can handle this. He was not aware that his opponent, who wore black, studied him and was aware of his quick movements. So the other prepared himself to be quicker than him, and he got shot just like that. So what are those two scenes are telling us? First, never rely on your own understanding nor your own strength. That's first. Secondly, be alert. I mean, when I watched that second scene, I was thinking, oh, dude, how could you be so dumb? You just escaped death, and now you allow it to happen again? Look at the bigger picture, please, believers. Don't be like those two dumb asses in those movies. Those are just fictional characters, I know, but just don't be like them. Look at the bigger picture. Be at peace.